Well, we have a brand new lady on The View, and she's got a That's right. Dylan Mulvaney, who is not a she at all, but I just had to say it that way for the joke. Dylan Mulvaney was a special guest on The View, and I gotta say, I mean, it's the wonder of science, makeup, lighting, and Photoshop. But Dylan Mulvaney is a genuinely authentic-looking feminine person, especially when Dylan goes on the panel next to Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg and Sunny Hostin and Alyssa Fairgriffin. My God, I don't know why they would want Dylan Mulvaney on there. Anyway, Dylan Mulvaney has a book. Dylan Mulvaney. Here's actually, I'm sorry. The tour began at CBS Mornings. We'll get to The View in a moment. Here is Dylan Mulvaney appearing with CBS News' morning show.
I was so scared that news outlets would take my admission into a mental health facility as a way to paint me and all trans people as psychos who belong in the loony bin.
It resulted in a lot of suicidal ideation and dissociation. I'm still battling with some of that guilt and that shame and that dysphoria that was projected onto me during that time. And that was a situation that I wouldn't have wished on my worst enemy now that I've lived through it.
Mulvaney says she never wanted to be an activist, but has found herself navigating a society that's not always supportive of trans rights.
On his first day in office.
I just want you to look at the way that the camera angle and the lighting on these gentlemen, these brave fathers who were there for their daughters, how they were just painted with this really, look at the dark. Do you see the dark circling around the picture? Right? Because it's obviously a beautiful sunny day where those men are. But do you see the black around the image to make it look dark and sinister? And did you hear? Look at now just read the signs here. No child is born in the wrong body. That is a beautiful, accepting, tolerant, inclusive statement. Yes, that's right. I'm using their words. Children cannot consent to puberty blockers. It's being covered up there. It's puberty blockers. That's just an undeniable fact. You can't get an aspirin at a public school without your parents consenting to it. Certainly, it shouldn't be the same with puberty blockers. In fact, even an informed consent of a child with their parent shouldn't be valid because children can't actually visualize and understand the long-term repercussions of that drug. You see, they can't consent to having a puberty blocker through chemical castration inflicted onto their young prepubescent body because they have no wisdom and understanding of what post-puberty looks like or feels like. So how can you say, yes, keep this natural thing from happening to me? That is the opposite of informed consent because you cannot possibly be informed as to what it looks like on the other side. These are factual, logical, and loving statements on these placards, and look how CBS News paints them as something sinister and intolerant and awful. Listen to the narration again.
But has found herself navigating a society that's not always supportive of trans rights.
On his first day in office, President Trump signed the order which recognized two sexes, male and female. When you heard that pronouncement, what did you think?
It didn't change any way that I think about myself because
nor should it, because it's a biological fact. Didn't you hear I love the question is just so, Trump did this thing. How'd that make you feel? What was the thing? Signed an order that said that there are two sexes. I think it's incredibly instructive that she didn't use the word gender there. Signed an executive order proclaiming there's only two sexes. It's like signing an executive order that healthy grass is green. It's just an objective truth. Remember? Truth, CBS News? Remember that? Heck, I don't even want to drag you into the idea of truth. How about fact? If there are more than two sexes, CBS News, name me the third, please. What is the third sex? What's the name for it? I want to hear it. Dylan Mulvaney said, didn't change the way I feel about who I am, nor should it, because you know what you've got between your legs. No amount of hair gel and makeup and fake eyelashes can change that. You're a dude who likes to dress up in soft, silky pink. Okay. So was Michael Jackson. I'm not judging.
Because I'm a woman, no matter what my passport says. We are not hurting anyone. We're less than 1% of the population. In the way that they speak about us so often is as if we're like taking over cities like Godzilla. We're just being our authentic selves.
The Trump administration.
I just want you to know that there's nothing authentic about that. I'm sorry. It's just amazing to me that you look at a person who has gone through extraordinary lengths for facial reconstructive surgery. God knows whatever other kind of reconstructive surgeries in their body. I have no idea. Goes out of their way to wear a ton of makeup to keep the 5 o'clock shadow from growing in with fake eyelashes. This is a man who is cosplaying as a woman and then says, I'm just being my authentic self. No, dude, this is authentic self. I just rolled out of bed. I barely combed my hair. I did not shave. All right, I've told you too much. That's fine. This all has to do, obviously, with the White House. So let's be sure we have an aerial shot of the White House.
The Trump administration has also tried to ban gender-affirming care for people under the age of 19. A federal court has blocked that for now.
And what do you say to those who do question gender-affirming care, believing that it could be irreversible and lead to problems later in life, even cause regrets?
I don't have the lived experience of a trans child that was able to seek out that care, but I ultimately do believe that parents know their child better than a government does. We should let those families figure out what is best for them.
Yeah, well, I just want you to know that those parents and those families are hearing from their doctors one-sided therapy solutions. In fact, there's a lawsuit going on in Colorado right now with Alliance Defending Freedom. They've taken up the cause of the fact that there's a law in Colorado that if a child or even an adult goes to a psychotherapist or a psychologist with gender dysphoria or questions and confusion about their sexual identity, and they say, listen, my name's Dylan. I'm a man, but something inside me is making me want to present to the world as a woman, and I don't want that. I want to be a man. I was born a man, and I'm asking you, psychologists, to help me. I want to affirm my maleness. I don't want to listen to this voice in my head that's telling me that I should present as a woman. The psychologist in the state of Colorado right now is prevented from helping that patient. That's the law. They must only affirm the new gender. Right? So spare me all of the bull about, oh, parents know their kids best. Let them work this out with the medical professionals. No, because the medical professionals are only speaking with one voice right now, even if they know otherwise. Then Dylan Mulvaney hightailed it from the CBS News studios and went to the ABC News studios. It's like 3 blocks away in the Upper West Side of Manhattan. And I got to tell you, I mean, if I were Ana Navarro, I'd be pissed off that I had to sit next to this gorgeous, gorgeous man who, again, don't get me wrong, that's a dude dressed up like a lady and still objectively prettier than Ana Navarro. I know that's mean. You come here for the facts. It's not my type or anything. Don't get me wrong. But I can objectively, but I mean, just look at the comparison. All right, let's see how the conversation went.
Yeah, her friend, it went from female to male and is competing with other
So
males.
Gavin doesn't have a problem with that.
Well,
No, well, I think part of the problem that the trans community is facing, and it's the same problem that women face, is if you don't know anything about our bodies, you don't know how it works. So when you come in and you say, oh, you know, these are men, you know,
competing
against women, you're assuming that the women are weak and just can't do anything except they're here. Have you seen female athletes? They know what they're doing. So I'm not sure what's going on or why this is an issue. The same for me as when people say, oh, you know, I don't know how I feel about you. You do. God doesn't make mistakes.
No.
And the challenge is not to the trans people, it's to the people who are not trans. That's what God is looking to see, how you treat people.
Yeah.
That's what
absolutely right.
is happening. So I was
Absolutely
just
right.
curious as to.
That is borderline evil right there. There it is. That's the look I wanted to freeze on. Whoopi Goldberg saying that the real problem is you. God doesn't make mistakes. God doesn't make mistakes, and that's why we need a lifetime of pharmaceuticals and radical, disgusting, if I described it to you, you would probably come close to vomiting, surgical procedures to alter the beautiful body that God gave you so that your brain, whatever's going on between your ears, can somehow pretend like it feels better about your body. But God doesn't make mistakes. You know, if God didn't make mistakes, then you wouldn't need to go through all of that alteration, right? So to twist that idea that God did not make mistakes and God made us all perfect individuals just as he intended, to twist that beautiful idea into affirming somebody destroying God's creation, it really is a special kind of evil, or ignorance, or both. Could be both. But this smile on Dylan Mulvaney's face came when Whoopi Goldberg was insulting every female athlete out there. Can I use the word female? Is that still allowed? Saying, oh, you know, you're worried about men invading women's sports, or these transgender girls playing sports, and you act like female athletes are, oh, what's going to happen to us? You know, these guys. Look at the person that's on your screen right now. This Dylan Mulvaney. Dylan Mulvaney has no idea what it is to be an athlete, male or female. Dylan Mulvaney was a show tune singing chorus boy in the national tour of Book of Mormon. Dylan Mulvaney doesn't know anything about athletics and sports. Last week, I interviewed Peyton McNabb. She is a female volleyball player, played volleyball for her high school in North Carolina. She was good, a really good female athlete. But you know what? The best female athlete can get severely injured by a mediocre male athlete. Serena Williams couldn't have played tennis against like the top 200 male tennis players. And she's the best tennis player, female tennis player ever to play. Peyton McNabb was playing volleyball for a high school team, a high school girls team. And on the other side was a biological male playing as a woman. In girls volleyball, they have a lower net. Why? Because girls can't jump as high as boys, generally speaking. And your very best girl volleyball player can jump really high, but not as high as the most average male volleyball player. That's just the truth. And so here was Peyton McNabb playing volleyball for her high school team. And over on the other side was a mediocre male player, but he was playing as a girl, and he got up higher than the other girls did. And he was able to spike that ball, and the trajectory of that ball came down at a sharper angle than it would have had he been playing on a boys' court, because the net would have been higher. But because he got up higher than that net than he would have as a boy, playing as a boy, that ball came down in a violent way. Hit Peyton McNabb in the head and caused her traumatic brain injury that she will have for the rest of her life. And Whoopi Goldberg just raised her middle finger at Peyton McNabb and said, yeah, go yourself. I don't care about you. My agenda with chorus boy Dylan Mulvaney is more important. These people are hateful. They really are. And what's worse is they're hateful, but they shroud themselves, cloak themselves, and camouflage themselves with the appearance of love and compassion. I close with this. That same Whoopi Goldberg left the set, walked down the street in Upper West Side Manhattan, and was encountered by that guy who does the Trump impersonation and confronts celebrities on the streets as Donald Trump. And well, here's the point of view of the Trump guy, and here's how it went.
Whoopi, it's your favorite president. Why do you hate me so much? I gave all the African Americans jobs. I loved doing the 90s, Whoopi. I loved Rat Race. I loved Ghost. I still love you deep down somewhere, but you need to come around. We used to be pals on the show. We would all hang out. We laughed. Barbara Walters is rolling in her grave right now. You have destroyed her legacy. This show is horrible. You need at least one trans woman on the show. Whoa, Whoopi. Whoopi's chasing after me. Whoopi. Whoopi was the one who ran after me. Guys, Whoopi. Okay, sir. You have great. I gave all these African-American jobs here. Tough guy. We got a tough guy. We got another Baldwin over here.
All right, we'll have to see what the full video looks like there. He piqued our interest, I'm not going to lie. So we'll be looking to see what the next clip looks like. But it sure looked like Whoopi was going to haul off and hit that dude with her bag, didn't it? Oh, there you have it. That's your Whoopi. That's the view. That's Dylan. Did I call him Mulvaney? I meant Mulvaney. That's all right.